I'm Jonathan Wells, the managing editor of Sharp magazine.
And this is Range Rover, a cinematic journey. It's been over 50 years since the first Range Rover hit the roads, and the decades since its debut have seen the car hit the screen in dramas, action films, TV series, reality shows and comedies. One notable comedy was Four Christmases, which sees the characters played by Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon always returning to the Range Rover throughout the film. It almost becomes a character in of itself. It's used to highlight that there are sophisticated urban people behind the wheel and that they're being dragged off to these different worlds over the course of Christmas Day. This car then is their sanctuary, their safe space, and a place of comfort.
If you feel the need to pull the ripcord early and say, Mistletoe, if this house gets too uncomfortable for you.
Okay.
Even if we're in there for 10 minutes.
All right.
Son of a bitch. The TV stars actually came.
Oh man, take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you.
Another film in which the Range Rover offers the characters a safe space is Due Date, a road trip comedy. In this movie, Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis only feel comfortable enough to have certain delicate, vulnerable conversations with one another when they step into the car. And although they get into various scrapes and situations throughout the film, the Range Rover always grounds the comedy. It's almost like a straight man in this regard, or a stage on which to let them perform.
All I'm going to do is go up here and say, look, we made a mistake and we're going to ask to turn around and get back to the United States.
Perfect.
Okay, I need you to be quiet, sit straight. Please be quiet, okay? Sorry.
A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum.
Step Brothers also uses the car as a stage. It uses the expansive interiors to great effect by having Adam Scott's character and his family perform a cappella as they're driving along. But here, the car also serves a symbolic function, becoming a byword for success or status.
Jesus!
Oh, sweet love of mine.
In a similar way to how the car is used in Step Brothers, James Corden's Carpool Karaoke became a sensation last decade for making use of those acoustics and the Range Rover sound system to let artists perform in a new and exciting way. Adele, Lady Gaga, Harry Styles, Paul McCartney, Elton John, the list goes on. And this is only one example of Range Rover on the small screen.
Our friendship and our family's friendship is absolutely not. It has nothing to do with distance and time.
I'm just not ready to come back yet, otherwise I would come back with you.
It's also starred in its fair share of TV dramas, and The Crown is an interesting one as it pulls upon real life. The royal family have not only used Range Rovers for decades, they've also awarded the brand a royal warrant, which means that the monarchy deems a product so superior that they form an agreement with the manufacturer. Being a period TV show, The Crown not only shows this, but it lets us see some of the earliest Range Rovers and shows that they've been trusted by the royal family for generations. Range Rovers have cropped up in any number of prime HBO shows, from The Sopranos to True Detective to Ballers, but Succession uses the cars on a different level. We saw everything from the Velar to the Evoque throughout the show's 4 seasons, and the role it plays as a metaphor here is clear. The very, very successful characters are always working, and the cars are almost used as mobile offices. It's another face of Range Rover, the executive face, because thousands of real-life business people use these cars every day as bases from which to get things done. But Range Rover is also in the action business. The John Wick films are famously very fast-paced, so in the third film we really notice when possibly the quietest, calmest sequence in the entire franchise comes thanks to a Range Rover. It calls back to those comedies where the cars were offering a safe haven for the characters. And here, we see the car being true to its reputation for reliability and sturdiness, transporting Keanu Reeves to safety. There's also something to be said about a Range Rover being similar to John Wick as a character. He wears a simple suit, is versatile and unassuming, but he's also hugely capable when put to the test, just like the car.
Whether out here on this desert or somewhere else down the road. But you are gonna die. Better get going.
And all this talk of action films brings us to perhaps the most famous franchise to feature Range Rovers. James Bond has been driving and evading Range Rovers since 1983, when Roger Moore got behind the wheel of one in Octopussy. Since then, they've shared the screen with Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and most recently Daniel Craig, as seen here in No Time to Die. Every Range Rover appearance in a Bond film puts the car's sturdiness, speed and build quality front and centre. But it's the versatility again that stands out in these films, because they're driven by villains, henchmen, civilians, even MI6, everywhere from London's city streets to the deserts of Bolivia to the snowy slopes of the Alps. It's the perfect way to prove that Range Rovers can do it all, whether you're looking for comedy or drama, and whether you're a businessman, a royal or even a super spy.
What about